In just a few seconds. Here we are. We are back. This is segment 2 with Chip Bell here and Lead with Giants community. I've got a great panel here, a team of all-stars, Dan Forbes, Chip Bell, and Sherry and Carol. Welcome back, guys. We want to change a little bit of the topic, but still talk about customer service as well with Chip here. Chip, you wrote a book, Managers as Mentors, and actually came out. Did it come out in the early '90s initially, the first version of it?
I can't remember, but that sounds right.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think back then people didn't really take it as seriously as they are today. But I'm a big fan of your material as well. But talk to us about absolutely. Talk to us about how can we develop or grow as leaders and be great mentors. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, I think part of it is the whole book was written about how do you build a partnership for learning, and that's the subtitle, Building Partnerships for Learning. And the premise is the fact that when you are acting as a mentor, you're dealing with four challenges. The first challenge is the fact that learning is a door only open from the inside. So my first challenge is how do I build a kind of relationship and rapport with my protege or mentee so that they'll welcome me in with my expertise or knowledge. And so that's the first step. The second challenge is all about the fact that great learning happens with taking risk. You know, if you take an online course, you can be silly and stupid in the privacy of your home or wherever you are. But when you're being mentored, it's all very public. You're right there in front of your mentor. And so given the fact that taking risk is so key to learning, how do you invite and encourage your protege to take those risks that result in learning? The third challenge is the fact that it's not about instruction, it's not about information, it's about insight and discovery. And so it's positioning the mentor to be more of a catalyst and facilitator of discovery, that aha that results in learning. And so the book talks a little bit about how to do that, how to provide the kind of things that create that insight and understanding. And the final challenge is I got to transfer that learning. We don't just learn for learning's sake. Most of us are mentored in an environment where there's an expectation of applying what we learned. And so part of the role of the mentor is to help the protege find ways to create that transfer of learning so that there's some results and payoff and outcome that's worthwhile to the organization as well as to the protege.
These are great ideas. One of the things that we do with Lead with Giants community, it is about learning and engaging, connecting with people. And Dan Forbes created this community that's ever evolving. And that's the wonderful aspect. Listening to you, it sounds like some of the things you're mentioning is some of the things we do here as a community in social media. Right. I'm curious to find out what's your thoughts of how social media is integrating learning and mentoring now more than any other time?
I think it is an incredible asset because one is more and more people are accustomed to social media and more comfortable in using it in its many forms. And what it's enabled is not only more frequent connection between mentor and protege, but you're not separated by time and space like we once were, where I have to go to somebody's office or sit in somebody's cubicle. Now I can mentor people around the world. And I can mentor people on different time zones and mentor people who may be working from home. And so I think it's provided an incredible asset to facilitating the ease with which that learning exchange can occur.
I see a lot of our team members shaking, saying yes with their head there, so they're in congruence with your message. Let me fade off to our team members here, our dream team here. Let's start off with Dan into the conversation as well.
So Chip, the question that I have is, what is the difference in your mind, in your description, between a mentor and a coach?
That's a great question.
Between mentoring a protege or coaching an employee or someone.
Right. I think my definition of a coach, great question, Dan. I think my definition of a coach is someone who is focused on nurturing and sustaining performance. whether you're a dance coach or an athletic coach or a work coach, that's what you're all about. A piece of that involves learning, and when I use the word mentor to refer to the one-to-one relationship where the primary focus is about learning a skill or an expertise or knowledge or competence. And so because of the nature of learning, I believe it needs to happen in a relationship more like a partnership, and not the traditional coach-player or coach-employee relationship. And that's, again, what the book focuses on. Obviously, it's a part. Some of the skills that we find associated with coaching, like giving feedback, giving advice, are also relevant for mentoring, obviously. But I think when they happen in the context of a partnership, their application is different. And so, again, the book describes how to do that. So, again, that's how I distinguish them. I can coach a team. I have to mentor an individual. If I'm mentoring a group, I call that training.
Great distinction there. Let's go around. Sherry.
I agree with Chip. I have done some mentoring myself. In the PMI chapter, we have an actual structured mentoring program, one-on-one with another project manager. So one is a project manager, one is somebody who's trying to be a project manager, and we do a one-on-one relationship. We help them learn and grow, and at the end, we hope that we've brought them to a place where they can be credentialed. And in my case, both of my mentees were credentialed. It was a fabulous experience.
Okay, let's go to Carol.
I agree with Sherry and Chip on the mentoring versus coaching. How do you see, Chip, more mentors in a business sense where, because my experience with mentors were very much helping me succeed in a very specific business setting. They were in the company I worked for. I had a mentor who was kind of helping me, and some of it was very much learning how to navigate the office politics of a Fortune 100 company. But so I see a lot of mentoring in those kind of settings, and some in what Sherry's talking about, whereas coaching can be much more broad-based. What is your sense between those two?
I think I use the word with a broad application, mentoring, because we don't have to limit it to someone who, A, is outside of our chain of command. Managers should mentor their employees who report to them. There's some challenges with it, but I think that's appropriate. Peers can mentor each other. It is, an individual who is at the sort of low end of the organization might mentor the CEO. So it has nothing to do with hierarchy. And the nice thing about mentoring is its application, while we're seeing it used a lot, particularly in the business world, because there's a keen interest in learning just to be competitive. Ari de Geis, the great strategic planner at Royal Dutch Shell, used to say your ability to learn faster than your competition may be your only competitive sustainable advantage. And so I think the competitiveness of organizations require them to keep up, and learning is key. But I don't think we have to limit it there. We see great mentoring happening in the world of the art. I did an article for American Theater where people talked about their mentor and protege in an artistic world. It can happen in a church environment. So I think its application is broad. We're seeing it a lot of attention now in the business world, but it's not limited to that.
Okay.
Chip, talk to us about leadership in the service organizations, how leaders can really benefit from some of your ideas and philosophy that you share about service, because you're really hitting the 2 points kind of merged together for both managers, leaders, and mentors. Talk to us about that from your experience.
That's a great question, and I think you do see great service happen without the benefit of leaders. We have people who have just a service orientation, their service attitude, and they're going to deliver great service no matter what. No matter the lousy leader they may have, they still are wired that way. Their mama's raised them that way. But I think if we want to see great service happen consistently throughout an organization, then that requires leaders to help nurture it and its occurrence in the organization. And I think probably the most important leadership role, if we look at the work of Robert Greenleaf, and servant leadership, the most important delivery is treating your employees in the same manner you want them to treat the customer. And so I think therein lies a key role of leader. It's empowering people to go the extra mile and be able to have the authority to do it. It's providing the support that they need to withstand sometimes a lot of challenges in terms of stress at the front line. It's providing them the learning and training to be able to be competent when they're dealing with a customer. But I think it all starts with that leader seeing themselves in the role of, I'm a servant leader. I'm here to serve the people who work for me.
Do you think that customer service has changed in the past decade or so? I know that both you and I have been in the industry for a long time, but do you see major differences or minor differences? Is there any difference than what it was maybe 20 years ago?
I think there's two answers to that. We would all probably say, I think customer service has gotten worse, and perhaps it has, or perhaps the expectations of customers today are a lot higher than they used to be. We know that for sure. Some research shows their expectations are 30% higher than they were this time last year. And part of the reason for that is when they get great service in little pockets of their life, they use that experience to judge everyone. So I go to Disney World and I expect everybody to treat me like a long-lost cousin. The FedEx person delivering my package walks in a hurry, then the next package may be coming from the Postal Service, and I assume they'll do likewise. So we use these little experiences to and what they do is raise our expectations. And so in many ways, I don't think service has maybe necessarily gotten worse. I think in some cases it has. Cell phone companies we just talked about. And there are a lot of reasons for that. But I think customer expectations are a lot higher. One of the things that's caused customer service to be what we experience today is more and more organizations are focused on quarter-to-quarter return, and therefore they're not putting the investment and long-term investment they need to. A lot of it's offshored, which changes the whole dynamics of service. So I think there are a lot of reasons why our experience perhaps is less than it once was in the good old days, as we used to talk about, where the gas station attendant actually would clean my windshield when I got a tank of gas.
Right. Those are great insights. I'm always curious to find out what that thing. So go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
Yeah. So that conversation brought a question to my mind. So if we are service providers, and all of us are probably selling something or providing a service to people, and we have been providing that wow type of service that we were talking about earlier, and we've raised then the expectations of our clients or our customers. What do we do next so that we can do we just keep raising that bar, or do we just do things differently? If we keep doing things the same, sounds to me from what you were saying, they then start looking at us as being sort of mediocre again.
That's correct. And I'm glad you asked that, Dan. It brings us back around to where we started. And that is the fact that value added has gotten more and more expensive. And if we define value added as I take what my customer expects and add more, by definition, I'm going to run out of room because I keep teaching my customer to want more and more and more and more and more. The whole beauty of innovative service is the fact that we're focused on not value added in the traditional sense, but it is value unique. And when we go into the unique category, we've got unlimited opportunities to do unique and different and surprise the customer without it necessarily changing their expectations. So I think the thrust in the future is going to be, what do we do that's different, not what we do that's more.
And Chip, share with us, before we close our second segment, share with us an example of an organization or an experience that have encompassed your philosophy.
I think the first one that comes to mind is the Hotel Monaco. And the Hotel Monaco is a company that is part of the Kempton Group that has done an incredible job at meeting the unique and unusual needs of their business travelers, who is their target market, who stay at Renaissance or hotels like Renaissance, Marriott, Sheraton, Hyatt, Hilton, and tend to travel all the time like I do. And pretty soon you're bored. It's like they all look alike. You can't tell the difference necessarily. And so what the Hotel Monaco is created a unique and unusual experience that literally enchants you. When a lot of hotels have a no pet policy. You walk into a Hotel Monaco, they ask you at the front desk, did you bring a pet? Oh, no, I didn't bring a pet. Well, would you like a pet? What'd you have in mind? Well, we can arrange to have a goldfish put in your room. The housekeeper will take care of it. All we ask is that you give it a name. I named my goldfish Trixie, so every time I show up at the Hotel Monaco in Chicago, they ask me to lean across the desk and say, you want Trixie to come spend the night with you again? So they have a lot of fun with it. When the white bathrobe in the closet, not at the Hotel Monaco, it's leopard skin and zebra print, and you got your own yoga mat in there. So I go on and on and on. But they're always looking for unique and different ways to say, how can we enchant the customer by providing the unexpected surprise that delights the customer, as we said at the beginning.
Those are great thoughts, and thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I know we're going to be either learning to swim or something back there in the lake. So fishing. Okay.
I'm fixing to go fishing.
All right.
Great.
I think Danny's ready.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed being with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and to our audience, thank you so much for viewing the show, and have a great Sunday afternoon to everybody.